Hello friends! So I got a request a few weeks ago to do a video about some tips and tricks for math class. Let me start out by saying that math is my least favorite subject, so I've had to figure out a lot of ways to stay motivated while I was taking these classes. I loved math all the way up until 7th grade until I had some teacher tell me after I hadn't done so well on a test that I wasn't any good at math. Let's be real, saying this to a 7th grader is not a good idea, and that little person will probably hold on to the comment that you made for the rest of their life. But ever since then, I struggled with math. I didn't like it and was really opposed to it, mostly out of fear that I would fail. It took me a while to figure out some ways to get over this problem, so I want to share some things that I learned that helped me a lot. Tip number 1, failing is okay. If you never fail, you will never be able to improve. So analyzing and understanding every mistake made on homework and tests is a really great idea. A lot of the times we don't want to focus on what we did wrong because we want to pretend it never happened and sort of just move on from that problem. But in order to get better, you will have to understand what you did wrong so you will know for next time. Make sure you go to your teacher after receiving a test or homework back and ask them if they have time to sit down with you to go over the mistakes. This is also a great way to show your teacher that you care and are willing to put in the work to succeed in their class. Tip number 2 is to not be afraid of the word tutor. I had a math tutor from high school all the way up to my last math class in college, and I'm going to say that it was the best thing that I ever did. Having that one-on-one time outside of the classroom was something that helped me tremendously. I was able to ask those questions that I felt would be seen as a little silly if I asked them in class. If you don't have time to go out and find a tutor, your next best bet is to find a study partner in class that you know understands the material, or even talk to your teacher. Tip number 3, always do your homework. Don't ever look at it as a choice. I know math homework can be time consuming, but it takes work and it is the best way to put what you learned to the test. Tip number 4. This is a tip that my math tutor always told me. In the beginning I was skeptical, mostly because I didn't want to do it, but like everything else, math takes practice. Doing your homework every night is part of the process, but it is important to sit down and take those problems that you may not understand completely and practice them and find other problems that are similar to it and solve those. The best way to smooth out the kinks is to work. If it helps you, you could also write out step by step how to properly solve the problem. This was super helpful for me since I'm a visual learner. I was able to visualize the steps that I had written down. I could always just kind of go back into my head and think, oh, that's right, I had written that for step 3. Tip number 5. If you feel like you're getting left in the dust, make sure you seek help fast. It is really easy to get left behind in math, so the second you feel lost or confused, speak up or talk to your teacher after class. Do not wait until the day before a test to get answers, because that will just add a lot more stress to an already stressful situation. Number 6, find or create practice tests to study for the big test. I know for math it is sometimes a little bit difficult to figure out how to study, but there are a ton of resources online as well as in the back of each chapter of most math books. I would definitely recommend to use those or to ask your teacher the best way to study. So it might take you a few weeks to find the best way to handle math class. It can be a daunting class with all those numbers, and that first test can sometimes set the tone for the entire year. But do not be afraid to ask questions, and don't forget to practice those problems. Your teacher is there to help you, and so are others. So don't be afraid to use them as resources. If you love math or have had some issues with math and have some tips or tricks, make sure you share them in the comments below. I'm sure everyone else would love to hear them. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all in my next